Hi there, this is Sheena Rowlands and today I'm sharing with you a scrapbook process video for Hey Little Magpie. I'm using the Vicki Boutin Storyteller range and I'm using the first draft paper as my base. I have an idea in my head how I want this to look, so I'm going to make a start and show you how I put together the title. I've used the Vicki Boutin alphas for the word books and I'm just using some stencils to cut round some book paper to create the number 57. And that's what I want to document today, that I read 57 books in 2020. I'm still in shock, to be honest, but I'm not surprised with lockdown. So using these butterflies from the stamp and die set, I set about making some mini books to go on this page. So I'm just using some embossing ink and clear embossing powder there. And what I'm going to do is I make 6, but I actually only use 5. So they're just on craft paper. I'm cutting them out roughly and using this trimmer. I've actually got a scoring blade in it and I'm actually going down the centre of the butterfly through their body to make the fold to make these books. It was just an idea I had. I wanted to actually document inside them what books I've read. So as you can see, I've got them on the background now. They're not stuck down, they're just in an idea of where I want them. I added a little bit of lined exercise paper inside and just stapled that down the spine. Eventually I actually write the titles of all 57 books in those mini books as a record for the future. So now you can just see me going through the rest of the Vicki Boutin Storyteller range, looking at the ephemera and the chipboard and the die cuts. I want to create a cluster in the bottom right hand corner. As you might have noticed, there's not a photo on this layout. I don't feel that it needs it, to be honest, but I feel that it just needs a little cluster of bits and pieces to draw your eye in. I'm just looking at changing the colour of the date there. I've swapped it from white to blue just to make it stand out more. So going back to the stamp and die set, I now take the small butterfly and using my distress inks from Tim Holtz, I'm going to add a few butterflies just to this background paper. In my mind I was going with the theme that when you read a book or listen to a book, which I do as well, you're transported somewhere else, and that's where I was thinking about the butterflies, that actually you're flying away to different destinations in your mind when you're reading a book. That all sounds a little deep, I know, but I'm sure you get what I mean. So I'm just going to add a few. They're not very obvious, some of them are quite tonal. I've just got a bit of scrap paper there, I'm just testing the colours before I actually use them straight on my background. I kind of wish I had more than one sheet of this paper, because I came up with a lot of thoughts of how I'd like to use it, and at this stage I was a little bit concerned I was going to mess it up, but luckily I still liked what I made by the time I finished. So I'm just moving those books around, just getting a feel for where these butterflies are going to go. I've added a couple hanging over just the edge of the painted background, just so you can see them a little bit. It's a clear block, so it really helps me get them in position. And now I'm going back to laying things where I would like them to be. I did use a bone folder to try and help with the spines of those books to get them to lay flat, and I think not until they're in a page protector will they lie a little flatter, but I'm okay with that. So I've got a piece of string here and I'm just starting to think, would I like those books to be flying out of the centre book? And I think I do, and I draw some lines in pencil and I sew them by hand just in a pale blue. You can barely see them, but I know they're there, but they're like the trails that a butterfly would have. So I've put the title back in and I'm just checking on those books, making sure I'm happy with the position at the ends of the stitch lines now. So I've actually used a bit of double-sided tape to stick those books down. I've added my journaling, in fact, to the actual pages of the book on the background, on the first draft paper, and it tells you just what I've just told you, how I found out how many books I'd read, why I was reading books and listening to books in lockdown, where I read and listen to books. So lots of things I can look back on in the future. So I'm still coming back in with this cluster in the bottom right. I thought I was going to use a stamp, and I've laid the stamp in there, but actually I don't in the end. But I'm just looking at the last few bits and pieces. I always think that I might miss something, and in fact I do. I pick out something from the die cut pack in the end to go in this corner. As I say, this is a layout without a photograph. I think it really works. I think it doesn't need it. It certainly still tells the story that I wanted it to. So one last look. I didn't know whether to add another butterfly there. You can see I had a couple, but in fact I go with the heart. I like the little touch of gold. And it's very nearly finished. If you like what you see, please give me a thumbs up. If you'd like to subscribe, I'd be really chuffed too. At the end of this video you'll find some close-ups of the layout plus the main image. I hope to be putting up a video at least once a week. I'm trying to get more prolific as this is a new skill for me. So I do hope that you like what you've watched. So here I go with the last few bits and pieces. Really love the way that looks, and here we are with the images. Thank you so much for watching. Hope to see you soon. Take care. Bye now.